Good afternoon, I'm Lily Goodsell and welcome to CNN News. Today we will be exploring ancient Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is located in the Middle East and Asia. Today Mesopotamia is called a combination of things. It goes along the Mediterranean coast of Lebanon and Syria to the Zagros Mountains in Iraq and Iran. Mesopotamia is located north of modern-day Saudi Arabia. Babylon and Sumer are also there, which are the ancient Babylonian Empire and Sumerian city-states. Now we are going to hear from our political scientists, Jayla.
Hello, me and I are just some of the many political scientists studying ancient Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia was made of many empire civilizations and was extremely diverse. They include many different city-states. The Akkadian dynasty, also known as the first true empire, took over Sumer, the first city-state in Mesopotamia.
Over the course of Mesopotamia's existence, there has been many empires and dynasties, and that include the Akkadian dynasty, the first dynasty of Babylon, the Assyrian Empire, the Hittite Empire, Israel, and Persia.
Empires in Mesopotamia were overthrown by new empires. Each empire lasted for about 100 to 200 years. Mesopotamia as a whole lasted for about 3,000 years. Sumer emerged as a city-state in 3500 BCE.
Each city-state was ruled by a different type of government, but was ruled by a king of the whole empire that was usually from a dynasty.
Kingship was the basis of power in empire, but they were also aided by advisors and bureaucrats, sometimes a queen. In each city-state, there were councils of elders and Congress who exercised democratic rule. An assembly leader is called an en, and their job is to carry out policies, while the chief advisor's job is to help the king create policies and handle diplomatic conflicts between city-states and empires. The king is also aided by commander-in-chief of the army, an officer's corps, and the head priest. The most well-known and first written-down laws was during the Babylonian Empire, created by King Hammurabi. The entire concept of these written-down laws was an eye for an eye.
Like we mentioned before, each empire that existed in Mesopotamia was sometime overthrown by another empire. There were about 15 empires that conquered the one before. Mesopotamia finally fell in 226 CE. Stay tuned for Lily, our geographer, and Nicole, our archaeologist. They are going to discuss their findings after this message.
This is the guinea pig plow used in ancient Mesopotamia. It was used for farming on the fertile land in between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Today you can get it on sale for $49.99 plus free shipping. To get it, call 499-2618. Geographic settings like the Tigris and Euphrates rivers had positive and negative effects on Mesopotamia. Their spring flooding was unpredictable and couldn't be used for irrigation reliably. Another problem the Mesopotamians had was salinization. The salts in the sediment carried by the rivers spread out across the floodplain instead of draining into the sea. The water from the floods then evaporated and left the salts there, which made saline desert that could not be used for farming. Mesopotamia was isolated from other civilizations. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers isolated them the most. There were also the Zagros Mountains to the north and east, and the Syrian and Arabian deserts on the west and south sides. Mesopotamia was exposed to the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, which bordered the civilization. The rivers flowed from the Persian Gulf, which is southeast of Mesopotamia. We are here near the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, digging up artifacts, and this is what we found. We believe that these are copies of cuneiform writing on clay tablets made by archaeologists hundreds of years ago that have been lost. Based on ancient Mesopotamian drawings, this is a jewelry box that belonged to a queen. And this bead led us to conclude that that's exactly what it was. Thank you, Nicole. Now Taryn, our economist, and Marissa, who studies art and architecture, will be speaking about their information on ancient Mesopotamia.
There was major evidence of economic interdependence in ancient Mesopotamia. Although economy did not depend on society definitely depended on economy. The base of their economy was trading. They traded things such as grains, oils, and textiles. The economic system was divided by social classes in ancient Mesopotamia. For example, peasants could not afford the same things that kings could. Kings were much more wealthier, whereas peasants had to work for what they wanted. Commerce, or a money system, was not quite invented yet, so they bartered things between each other to get the things that they needed. Another word for this is trading, which was really important in the ancient civilizations. They traded things such as cloths and rugs and stuff outside of ziggurats and markets. Geography played a huge role in ancient Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia, also known as the land between two rivers, was set between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This was important because people could use these rivers to trade goods with other civilizations.
In ancient Mesopotamia, there were many innovations that set them apart from the rest of the civilizations during their time. Indoor plumbing, in the 3rd millennium BCE, included toilets and tilted drains that carried water in clay pipes. Other innovations were the potter's wheel, which later turned into a regular wheel for transportation, plowing to make planting crops easier, and glaze on decorative tiles. The Mesopotamians were the first people to have literary imagery, tales of resurrection, and the idea of jobs. Their arithmetics and literature were advanced, and they developed cuneiform. Another thing they developed was the tax collection system. The arts played a role in Mesopotamia in all aspects of life. From shelter to religion to environment, art surrounded the Mesopotamians. Music was a big part of the Mesopotamian life as well. Instruments included drums, flutes, panpipes, lyres, and harps. Their love for music was immense. Art of this time period was functional, decorative, and religious. It showed their daily life, their beliefs, and their trade routes. The main art forms of Mesopotamia were clay pots, tablets, temples, furniture, statues, and ziggurats. They built schools, temples, workshops, businesses, and houses as well. The calendar in ancient Mesopotamia began with 2 seasons, as a solar year, with months differing between cities. After 2400 BC, scribes started using the schematic year of 30 times 12 equals 360 days. In 18th century BC, the Babylonian Empire adopted the lunar year. The months in this year were Nizanu, Ariu, Simenu, Dutsu, Abu, Ululu, Tashritu, Arkamanu, Kismu, Tebetu, Simenu, and Ariu. Ariu was only included 6 times in the 19-year cycle of the calendar. It was never included in the 17th cycle when Ululu II was inserted. Sumerians were the first people to divide day and night by time. The 60 minutes in an hour, the 60 seconds in a minute, and the 12 hours in a day all originated in Sumer. Homes in Mesopotamia were made of different materials depending on what class you were in. The poor had reed homes, the middle class made homes of sun-dried bricks, and kings and god had homes and temples of baked brick. When finishing any buildings, offerings were made to the god Azuru, the god of completed construction. This made sure that the homes would be secure for centuries to come. The structures in ancient Mesopotamia were simple at first, and they grew more complex as their religious beliefs got stronger and they wanted to honor their gods. An irrigation system had to be created in Mesopotamia because of the low rainfall and the dramatic spring floods. Since the Euphrates River was at a higher elevation than the Tigris River, it was used as a water supply, and the Tigris River was used as a drain. Sumerian city-states required one irrigation system, and they were called irrigation cities. The ancient Mesopotamian irrigation systems included large weirs and divergent dams. These created large reservoirs and supplied canals. The ideas of these irrigation systems were thought to come from the hills.
Thank you, Marissa. Nicole will be talking to us one last time on a more religious view of ancient Mesopotamia after this break. For ancient Mesopotamians, farming was their main food source. They harvested barley, wheat, lettuce, onions, leeks, lentils, garlic, and cucumbers to make their meals. In earlier times, Mesopotamians used these simple ingredients along with some flatbread to make a quick and healthy dinner. For a quick and healthy meal, combine 9 unique ingredients to make a delicious stew for an amazing dinner, along with some flatbread. So, first, you need to add 2 cups of water to a big pot, along with some lentils, and then boil them, and then simmer them after that. Next, you need to cut up some leeks. And to simmer, which is a good thing. So then you just add some of the stuff. Okay. And then you need to cut up the onion. Alright, now we need some garlic. Yes, it worked. Now some red onion. It's red. Oh God. Didn't do it. Oh, my eyes. Oh, my eyes hurt so bad. Now we're gonna put some lettuce. Okay. Next, we're going to add some ground mustard. I can't. That's good. Okay. Some important spices that the Mesopotamians used were cumin, cilantro, coriander, leaf, thyme, and dillweed. Okay. How do you get this out? Oops. Stop laughing at me. Flatbread was an important part of their meals. For the complete recipe of this delicious stew, please visit mesopotamiaeats.com. Polytheism was practiced throughout the civilization. They believed in 4 major gods, and their government and their religion were not linked together. Their government consisted of a king. Reed stylus and clay tablets were used to create their form of writing, which is cuneiform. Cuneiform consists of continuous lines and wedge shapes. It can be read today, and it is not pictographic writing. All of the Mesopotamian civilizations used cuneiform writing. Thank you to all of our team here at CNN News for these new pieces of history on ancient Mesopotamia. David Muir with World News is up next.
Lily, are you ready for your newscast?
I'm scared, I'm hiding. Good evening.
We want to talk it in? Thank you. Hold on. The Hittite Empire.
It's Hittite.
I can't read.
Hittite!
Good work. She's
I've been there for like an hour.
That's amazing. Wow, these chips are hitting it.
Okay, go. You just start playing.
Food. See, I'm permanently on your computer now.
Another foot. Pudgy feet. Pudgy's Pizza. They
Such.
closed.
She always go like this.
You can't just do that. I was not expecting it. You can't.
Alright, now you're gonna put it in. I just missed. Oh my god. Sorry, my eyes were closed.
What are you doing?
If I did this, just cut holes.